I believe that we made contact with Bridget Bishop.
You can feel their memories, you can feel their emotion.
It is one of the most draining experiences I have had. It is something I would not do every day, but I am glad that I took part in it.
We're so glad everyone's okay. That was intense. Division of labor. I'll debunk Ouija boards, and you get the candy from the little tyke. We asked if we can make the board a bit more interesting by having our witches perform their amazing feat while wearing blindfolds.
That would be like asking a blind person to paint Botticelli.
Spirits that come through to the Ouija board need everything of what is called the medium. They need the energy of the hands, the sight of the eyes, the hearing. All of these bodily functions are integral.
You have to use your eyes because you're looking at the letters. If you were blind, you wouldn't be looking at letters, you'd be looking at the Braille alphabet.
Botticelli, bodily functions, the Braille alphabet. You could just say no. Forget the pros. We decided to give spirit boards a real test with some people who had nothing to lose or gain. We headed west to historic, haunted Hollywood.
All right, we're standing in front of the Hollywood Knickerbocker Hotel, and right here is where the actor William Frawley died in March of 1966. He played Fred Mertz on the I Love Lucy show. Frank Manis, president of the Greater Hollywood Paranormal Society. William Frawley lived here at the Knickerbocker, went out for one of his daily walks, and as he was coming back into the hotel, had suffered a massive heart attack and died right out on the front steps.
Could the ghost of Fred Mertz be contacted via spirit board? Our three unbiased volunteers, CJ, Robin, and Nairi, were ready to find out.
The last time I did it was when I was a teenager, and a lot of creepy things happened.
I just hope we have some fun here, and hopefully we can break through.
Oh yeah, bring it on.
The spirit board works for anyone who tries it. We checked.
The board serves as a catalyst and a tool.
It puts people in the right frame of mind to make contact.
You can use the board and have no training, is what I'm telling you.
I've never had someone say they couldn't get it to work.
Great, let's go.
We'd like to contact the spirit of William Frawley. Is there somebody here? You may have to get used to the board. Are you here?
Yay.
Okay, where would we know you from?
Team V.
Sweet juicy Jesus, it's working! And unlike the selling witches of Salem, these three have nothing to promote or gain from their success. How can they be getting results?
Ordinarily, when you move a hand, you're consciously aware that those hands are moving. But with the Ouija board, you're not. And that's called an idiomotor response. Lauren Pankratz, psychologist. In an idiomotor response, the awareness is bypassed, and the response goes directly to the muscles. You just are convinced you are not doing anything to make that thing move. So it is very deceptive.
I was surprised that we got the planchette to start moving so quickly.
Movement was completely out of my hands, so I just went with it.
Every time it would move, I was freaked.
When people get together, it's a very powerful situation of expectation. Then you say, well, there's some outside force. There's some outside spirit.
Fred Mertz's ghost. Hard to imagine anything scarier than that. We thought we'd check to see if the spirit board would work if these participants couldn't see what they were doing. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Without our volunteers' knowledge, we turned the spirit board 180 degrees. After all, that shouldn't matter to the spirit of Fred Mertz.
Was Hollywood at its height when you were alive?
Yay.
Yay? There's no yay there.
Would you still like to be alive?
Nay.
Whoa! Their hands are just going back to the spots where they think the words are. What a surprise.
Well, what happens is that the individual's expectations continue to operate if they don't know that board has been moved or the letters rearranged. So the expectations have the result of the person going right back to those same letters, those same patterns.
You know, the human mind is a wonderful thing. That same tool that was used to find a vaccine against polio can be fooled by 50 cents worth of cardboard and plastic. That's what keeps witches in business, and that's what sells Ouija boards.
It's all about the buck. They love us here because we turn the buck for them and for ourselves sometimes.
When either of us kicks off, the other's going to devote his life to trying to communicate with the other side. There's a lot of money to be made in such a proposition. We've known each other for a long time, and we've developed a code word to identify ourselves to each other so no one can trick us. You remember the code word, don't you, Teller? Hand me the planchette, would you? In the last few decades, the bullshit of contacting the other side has received a makeover. It's been dressed up with a new coat of paint called New Age. Ladies and gentlemen, the trendiest way to enter the spirit world, the near-death experience.
When my head hit the curb, boom, I was out of my body. Soul separated, and I was being sucked into this brilliant tunnel of warm, loving light. I felt like
bathed in the light. It was an overwhelming sense of a cleansing.
I really was not in the hospital anymore. And I found myself way out in space.
I saw every single person that I had ever had any contact with.
Only my body was in the hospital room. I was off in the Garden of Eden in heaven.
Stories like these, called near-death experiences, or NDEs, have become cliche. Proponents of life after death cite these accounts as proof of whatever their particular myth believes. It's a powerful image, a tunnel of light that leads to the other side. But this tunnel is a dead end.
It's a wrap.
Near-death experiences are generated by brain function, and they don't prove that there's an afterlife. Barry Beierstein, psychology professor, Simon Fraser University. Neuroscientists are thoroughly convinced that near-death experiences are things that happen when normal brain function is disrupted and the brain is shutting down.
When blood flow is cut off, lack of oxygen sends the brain into a kind of final curtain dementia, a mind trip, courtesy Mother Nature.
These are complex hallucinations. They're taking place in the theater of one's own mind.
We're done, right? Well, not according to this woman. Damn, we were heading out for donuts.
I'm Jan Price, and I've been to the other side of death.
Jan Price is a big name in the world of near-death experiences and the best-selling author of
The Other Side of Death.
The Other Side? Oh. Thank you, Teller. I'm all right now. Jan's NDE began when she had a heart attack and died.
Just like that. Suddenly, I'm above everything. And I'm looking down at my body and saying, gee, I'm not in there anymore. That must mean I'm dead.
And then they revived her, so I guess we blame the doctor for this dolt.